Hey, what's going on? It's Stokely from Sauce on the Lake. Maybe I'll actually publish this, what I'm recording right now. Don't know if I will, based on how far I go off tangent, based on if I get too offensive, based on if I don't know, based on if I'm just totally, I'm always totally going off of memory. I don't have a script. I'm driving and can't really read and drive at the same time. I used to do that when I was in college, but that was really silly because I went from riding the train and reading to trying to read while I'm driving, which was really stupid. And the things that I ended up reading anyway were recreational reading and it's not my textbooks because, I would do everything except do my schoolwork. Anyway, moving along. So, last night I was, talking to ChatGPT, and not talking, typing, because when you talk to ChatGPT, well, at least a free one, it's not as robust as typing a prompt and saying, "Yo, so and so and so, tell me this." Just a while ago, I was trying to get the Kelley Blue Book value of our vehicle. I did the conversational AI, and it said, "Oh, well, the best thing you should do is go on the website." I closed that. Boop. Went to the prompt and just typed it in. What's the Kelley Blue Book value of this vehicle? Gave me the information. Okay, so talking to the AI works less. Whatever. It's not as good as typing it. So anyhow, first I was reading an article about, what was it? A guy was talking about 3 practices to increase anyhow, I don't know what he was talking about. I don't remember now. But the 3 things, if I can remember them, the 3 things he was talking about. How do you he was talking about the parasympathetic nervous system and how to help your parasympathetic nervous system. And he was saying, cold showers, exercise, and sleep. Cold showers, exercise, and sleep. Same stuff but it was in Business Insider magazine, Business Insider website. Sometimes you see Insider Business, then you see Business Insider. I don't know which one is legit. But I don't recall what the title of the article was, but then there was something in it that inspired me to... he mentioned something called Andropause. And I said, Andropause? What? Andropause? Is that a real thing? So I went to ChatGPT. I said, ChatGPT, is Andropause a thing? And he says, yes, Andropause is a thing. Not as popularly, not as popularly mentioned as much as menopause. And I guess it's not as pronounced. So nobody really, I guess people don't really talk about it much. But it's saying that andropause can happen in your 30s and your 40s when your testosterone drops off. And it can be indicated by irritability. I know some of the symptoms are like irritability, erectile dysfunction, hair loss, and stuff like that. Andropause. I'm like, what? Really? What's going on? So I'm like, yo, that sounds like some of the symptoms that I'm having. I mean, that's the thing about the internet. You read about some condition, all of a sudden you think you have this condition. So it's like a view into Munchausen syndrome almost. Munchausen syndrome is a disorder where you want to go through a whole bunch of medical procedures that are unnecessary, I guess, in order to gain attention. That's what I think it's about. But this is not to gain attention. I'm reading about these medical conditions. All of a sudden, I think I got them. That's the danger about being a Google doctor, or trying to be a Google doctor to yourself, or trying to self-diagnose. Self-diagnose can be a crazy thing. So I'm like, whoa, sounds like I got andropause. Like I really felt like a lot of things dropped off. Let's say last year, which is 2024. like mid 2024, I just felt like a lot of things dropped off, you know what I mean, regarding my I've discussed it before, regarding my whole libido and my whole my drive, somewhat, you know what I mean. I'm not keeping myself up and not really, you know, taking care of my hair and not exfoliating my skin, and you know, sometimes not clipping my nails. My nails need to be clipped right now, you know what I mean. Just like really just like checking out, you know what I mean. And I thought that's inspired us that a caveman didn't even live past 30 years old anyway, so we're kind of, you know, we're kind of in overtime right now. I mean, I'm only in my mid-40s, but compared to the caveman, I'm in overtime. But compared to guys in the Bible who live up to 200 and something years, not really. And compared to guys in the early 1900s or the 1800s, compared to guys in the 1800s, actually, I'm right on. You know what I mean? If I expired right now, I would be, you know, that would be considered a full life, you know, unless I was like a rich man like Ben Franklin. I think Ben Franklin lived up to like 70 something years old. But Ben Franklin was, you know, living at expectation, you know, he's a rich guy. So, and, you know, wealth gives you a greater health span, you know. Education also. And he's educated, relatively educated, right? So, right? So, Andropause now. Let me see if I can bring it up from the conversation I had with ChatGPT, because you can go in your history and find your stuff. Let me see here what he was talking about. Let's go back. Kelly, Andropause, okay. Okay, so I mean, it's something that you can, you know, it's something that you can work on. And you know, one of the things that it was suggesting is to go on TRT. Oh, you know what? The article that I read in Business Insider was talking about, I don't remember what it was talking about. But one of the things I like to do is when I look at things online is read the comments, because sometimes people are educating themselves, and sometimes there's some professionals in the comments and they're adding their little comments, and somebody in the comments mentioned Andropause to an Instagram post about, I don't recall what it was about. And that's how I learned about Andropause. And that's when I went to ChatGPT. But ChatGPT also integrated some conversations that we had before about my overall health, and just kind of piggybacked off the conversation we had with previously about my overall health. So my drive shaft is making a lot of noise, like 2 years ago. Most times what I do is put some grease on it and it just like stops making noise. But hey, let's see here. Did I take a screenshot of that guy's talking about Andropause? I don't think doesn't look like I did. No, I did not. I didn't take a screenshot of that. Well, early onset Andropause. Yeah, early onset Andropause. Here we go. I feel like I got early onset Andropause. I mean, if we having, we're having a lot of testosterone dropping off worldwide due to environmental factors and all kind of other things. But anyhow, it says early onset Andropause, environmental endocrine disruptors, exposure to chemicals that mimic estrogen, BPA, phthalates is one of the most significant contributors. These disrupt the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis. Now, I was looking at the hypothalamus, and I've been looking at the pituitary, so I feel a little bit proud of myself. You know, the fact that I've been looking at the pituitary gland. I did a post on the pituitary gland and the hypothalamus. I did a post on the hypothalamus also, I believe, yes, in my own self-diagnosis. So, you know, in my own self-diagnosis regarding what happened to my mojo, you know, what happened to my libido, what happened to my drive, you know what I mean? But one of the contributors is chronic stress. I don't necessarily feel stressed. I guess if I consider feeling stress me showing stress, like, just like screaming and shouting and which is something I've never done. I mostly internalize things. I don't feel like I'm feeling any exceptional stress. No, I don't think so. But hey, maybe a stress test is required to confirm it, because I'm probably in denial. It's possible that I'm in denial, but I rather just I don't know. I rather keep going. You know what I mean? Like, keep going. Like, when you feel, sometimes you embrace a prognosis and say, "Oh, I have this. I am this way." No. I believe, I would hope that we're saying that we're getting better. We're getting better. No, I'm not. Yes, maybe I'm experiencing symptoms, or maybe I have this condition, but I'm on my way to get better. It's just a place that I'm passing through. I'm not staying here. You know what I mean? It's like Monopoly when they say, go to jail and don't pass go. You know what I mean? Like, you can go to jail, but jail is only for a little time in the game, and also you can pass through the jail spot, and it says around the border of the jail in Monopoly, just visiting. So you can just visit. So I'm just visiting. I'm just visiting, man. Like people say, the people use the terminology, it's not a death sentence. It's not a death sentence, right? So yeah, there's nothing final about it. So, don't give up, you know what I mean? You might want to look into, like, 39% of my, is it 39%? 39% of my listeners are men of a certain age, 44 to 50 something. And 53% of my listeners are men. So that means majority of my listeners are men of a certain age. And I guess they're identifying with this. We're all looking online and seeing these old guys and these middle-aged guys like myself doing amazing feats of fitness. Doing muscle ups, running miles like David Goggins, doing all kind of such, and it's inspiring. Don't feel inadequate. Take your time and run your own race. Get away from the BPA, the phthalates. A few of the recommendations are: don't eat out of plastic, don't microwave your food in plastic. Thankfully, in my house, we threw away the microwave. I would try to get rid of the non-stick stuff too, but try to get clean cosmetics like sauce on delay, clean cosmetics that don't contain BPA and phthalates. Some that don't contain these I think sulfides, right? Make your environment. I would also recommend you get an air filter, and of course get to sleep. Get to sleep as much as you can. You know what I mean? But we're in a rat race a lot of times, and the gentlemen of a certain age got a lot of responsibilities. They got kids to take care of, they got bills to pay, they got house to fix, they got car to fix, they got all kind of politics to worry about. One thing you can do is also stop watching the news. Another thing is that popped up when I was talking to ChatGPT is dopamine fatigue. Now, I've heard of adrenal fatigue, but talking about dopamine fatigue, like listening to too much, watching too much screens and watching too much social media and stuff. And, it's already been proven that pornography can cause impotence. So, even though these guru guys, they seem like they're chads and they don't know what they're talking about, when they say don't watch pornography, it's not just a moral thing. It's not just the religious fundamentalists that are saying don't watch pornography. It's, it's about time that the psychologists start to say, well, stop watching pornography. And I haven't heard them say that yet. I hear the gurus saying it. I hear the Giga Chad guys saying it. I hear the Manosphere saying it. I hear, moral people, religious leaders saying it. Now it's time that the psychologists also close it in and say, listen, I know psychologists like Tess Fraud Wolf, who is a psychiatrist, actually, have already done the research linking impotence to pornography. So I would recommend that if you're doing that, if you're looking at that, don't look at it no more. Ban and block and everything. The funky thing is, if you have like an Instagram, like I have my business Instagram for Source on Delay, occasionally someone comes and likes your picture. You look at their profile, it's a link to a OnlyFans type of situation. So, sometimes the pornography sellers are soliciting you, so sometimes you're trying to run away from something and the thing is chasing you. But you gotta flee from evil, you know what I mean? Like I was saying before, regarding my own anger management, I started saying flee from evil, So there's a lot of situations that are confrontational and stressful, and I really just try to take a left turn and exit those situations. Like I'm possibly gonna have a stressful. Like I said, stress is like one of the main causes of early onset andropause, right? Stress, andropause, stress, and according to ChatGPT, stress is number 2. Number 1 is encountering all these chemicals. Stress is number 2. I'm about to have a stressful conversation eventually with my bosses at work, and I'm trying to avoid that by trying to find a solution and working towards that. You know what I mean? Everything is in the mind. You know what I mean? Look, they're talking about the hypothalamus and the pituitary. Those things are in your brain. Pituitary, the master gland that's controlling all the hormones and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So you really got to have your head on your body, and have your head on your body, but don't take yourself too seriously. But hey, you look into it yourself, because I'm already at work and I gotta go. I just had a phone conversation with a job recruiter, and then now I got to. It took away from my time to rant and rave and improvise and freestyle and all that. So right now, I would say do your own research regarding andropause. And don't fade into that good night, Get away from the chemicals, the perfumes and all of that. It's hard to sometimes, if you got a domestic partner, tell them, listen, those Glade plugins are poison. That Fabuloso and those cleaning chemicals, that fabric softener, all these things, these scented things, they're killing my machine, and they're killing all of our hormones. It's hard to explain that to them. They'll look at you like you got 2 heads on, but just put the seeds out there. They'll eventually, God willing, hopefully listen if they don't listen initially. Take your time and work towards, getting rid of that microwave, or if not get rid of the microwave, put glass and ceramic inside of the microwave. I think the Poland Spring bottles say BPA free now. Those plastic containers, eating out of plastic containers and drinking out of plastic bottles is another indicator. They say pipe water is better, but pipe water could also contain hormone disruptors. So they're suggesting reverse osmosis filters and all the kind of filters that can potentially remove them. But there's a good thing to know that, listen, BPA can leave your body in 48 hours, and phthalates leave your body in about 7 days. So if you switch to a more healthy lifestyle with organic food and clean your fruits and stuff, you'll be all right. All right, thanks for listening.